Pisces, my deep, deep friend, thank you and welcome to your reading for the first 2 weeks of May 2024. My name is Crow. I love to say this. My name is Crow, not Dove for a reason, so sometimes I caw, caw, and that's all right. I am going to be reading from today using the Spirit Medicine deck and my deck called 33 Masters. All right, 33 Masters. Boom. I just want to take a moment to call upon the angels, ancestors, the awakened ones, the awakened masters who are walking with us. Now we look your way and we just ask that you look our way for this message. Just coming to you from a humble, sacred, loving space, wherever it is that you find yourself. Pisces, when you're listening to this reading, thank you for being here. And here we go. Pisces, you are going to have an epiphany, Pisces, in the first 2 weeks of May. I don't know where this epiphany is coming from, but it feels like a divine lightning bolt coming from the heavens straight to your third eye, down to your throat, to your heart. So it feels like a very grounded and integrated way, energy. You know, maybe some of Pisces have not had a lot of energy, so much emotion and unrest, inability to express or move that emotion in your life. But it feels like now, for the first 2 weeks in May 2024, Pisces, and whenever it is that you're listening to this, it feels like you're gonna have some really great epiphanies. And the first card here that we have for that epiphany is, it's actually in reverse, so I gotta figure this out. All right, mouse, Pisces. The mouse in reverse is about like that inner critic, and perhaps some of this like deep emotion that I was just mentioning earlier is about, is about understanding how to transform that nitpicking energy, because, you know, scrutiny, which is the mouse medicine, is a really great thing, but once you can literally chew yourself to oblivion, like any of you, I don't know if you've ever been around a mouse or had a mouse problem, but it's annoying, and it's like that slow gnaw and annoyingness that just drives you crazy. So it feels like a part of that epiphany is going to be you really realizing how your inner critic and that inner judgy hipster, I like to call, is sort of, I don't want to say ruining your life, but I mean, it feels like kind of dramatic, like how it could potentially ruin your life if you keep it going. So Pisces, be aware of how that also affects your view of the world, okay? And how that can really just shape your experience here as a human being. We want to really begin to turn this energy of the mouse, of scrutiny, in a great way. Maybe you got fucked over. Pardon my French, but this is just coming through strong. Perhaps you got fucked over by somebody, and like that sting is you're still harboring some of that energy, and then projecting that like emotional waste that's being built up outward. It feels like you need an outlet to move that energy. And we're going to see a little bit later in this reading, we're going to come back to that and see how that can move. Okay, so yeah, we have the Mirrors card. The Mirrors card is about seeing yourself more accurately, okay? Unfog your mirror. So it's like wipe away some of that winter fog, some of that like collective gunk. And the reason why I bring collective gunk in is because we're going around here talking about like everyone is a mirror of everyone else, and that's all fine and dandy up until a certain point, Pisces, because you are such a unique individual, and it's important that you understand that for yourself. It's important that you understand that for yourself, because not everyone is an exact mirror. They're going to mirror maybe certain aspects of ourselves, and even then, the specificity of the depth of which that can be applied to your life is going to be different. I'm going to say that again because maybe that was a little bit confusing. So what I say is like, okay, if Pisces and I'm you in this first 2 weeks of May, I'm seeing something that is reminiscent of how I act in somebody else. But the veracity and the intensity is not going to be the same for you and how it shows up in your life. So you as an alchemist, as this deep spiritual warrior, Pisces, have to understand for yourself like where that actually shows up in and how much proportions and how deep that shows up in, okay? Because we're dealing with the mouse, so I'm going in more in depth, a little bit more specific here, without chewing your head off. So it's important for you to understand that the people who are around you are not you. You are you. You get to decide for yourself. It's like a breath of fresh air, that lightning bolt of loving energy, of forward moving energy for you. It feels like, Pisces, maybe some of you have been coming out of a deep like loss or like relationship era. I mean, I just said era. Okay, so that's just going to let you know. The language that I'm using sort of lets you know in these channeled sacred readings here. Like era feels like eternity when you're in it. And then when you get out of it, it's like, whoa, boom. So some of you are going to have a wake-up call in a sense of like, no, you don't need to get smacked around to have a wake-up call. A wake-up call can be seeing something like inspiring as well. And getting downloads through the things that you're watching, through the things that you're seeing, through your positive beliefs and through your interactions. All of these things can wake you up. And it's good to be awake because you especially Pisces, you know, it's such a spiritual sign. All of the signs are spiritual in their own way. But psychically speaking, Pisces, it's good to understand for yourself during these first 2 weeks of May, and just in general, perhaps, wherever, you know, you're tuning in for your Pisces, whether it's sun, moon, or rising, that to be clear requires clarity. And you're not going to get clear. You're not going to have clarity if you're chewing yourself up here. What else do we got for Pisces? Yeah, this like... All right, wolf pack, Pathfinder Energy. So whatever this lightning bolt moment, whatever this wake up call moment is going to be for you, however dramatic or subtle, we'll say, it's going to give you a certain sense of, I made it through this life experience, and I can be a pathfinder. I could be a way shower for others. This is not like a contract. You don't have to do it. You can if you want to. But the energy of the strength of the pack comes from the collective. And everyone has its place. So finding your role, and maybe you have this sense of understanding your role. We all need to have a role to feel somewhat secure and to know like just what our boundaries are, perhaps in certain situations in work and relationships, in our personal life with family. It's good to understand like what our role is, even if that role is to just like, I'm the person who just chills, you know what I mean? Like that's the sacred duty. So whatever it is that your role is, understand like that you also have the power to howl at the moon and become that pathfinder, the wolf that runs ahead into the future and experiences all of the stuff, runs through that collective junk, right? The collective muck that's going on within our minds here, and then emerges and comes back and says, this is what I've seen, and this is how you can help one another. This is how you can help yourselves. You can help one another. You can help your community. And so you always have a choice to bring back these messages, and you can bring them to the collective. But of course, first and foremost, because we are dealing with the nature of this reading is really about how you see yourself and how you see the world. Allow it to change you. This aha moment, simmer in that space. So often we have these aha moments and we have these revelations and we don't sit in them long enough. We're just like, oh, okay, next thing. You know, running on that little mouse or hamster wheel, right? Let's just keep going. So it's a stop and smell the roses sort of moment in order for you to find your pathway. And to not be so intimidated by perceived ghosts of your past, Pisces, and to not be so intimidated of taking steps forward, okay? Because you have that foundation of the pack, which is behind you and in front of you. And at a certain point, the past becomes future, future becomes the past. What's in front of you is behind you, and what's behind you is in front of you. Like at a certain point in your life. And so this transitional period that you might find yourself for the first 2 weeks of May, it's good to keep those things in mind. We're gonna pull one more card for here. Pisces, languages. So I was talking about the psychic thing earlier and how it's important for you to, in order to get clarity, you need to be clear. So languages is the energy of how you can develop a language with you and spirit that is completely unique to you. So even within this reading, if a wolf means something to you specifically, if you have relationship and or associative spiritual memory with wolves, like there's a message for you to develop. Not even a message, a dialogue, okay? So part of languages is creating a back and forth, a dialogue, an open dialogue between you and your body parts, you and your mind, you and your friendships, you in spirit, you in your creativity. This is a really great way. Maybe learning a new language. A new language can also be learning tarot, learning oracle cards, learning how to channel. It could be learning like a different language. You know, if you don't speak, I'm assuming some of you at least are speaking English who are watching this channel here. So if you want to learn a second language, whether it's sign language, creating your own language, like this goes so far. This energy of languages goes really far. And perhaps maybe you want to take up a new language, trying something new. That new fresh energy gives you a new sense of self, and your brain is going to love it. Maybe you're just bored and that's why you've been inner criticking. So this is a wonderful, wonderful balanced reading for you, Pisces, and thank you for being here. And if you resonate with these messages and you want to keep following me, show the boy some love, give your crow a thumbs up and a subscribe, and many blessings for you for the first 2 weeks of May. Peace.